Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for the introduction. We started this collaboration a long time ago. We met at Ceres in the previous forum, and I'm hoping that next year we will be fully normal, back to full normality and normalcy. I was quite interested and impressed by previous presentations, and I would like to move on to an important integral part of the entire agricultural economy. It has to do with those who wish to invest. So we're talking about financing resources. Yes, grants are good. Pillar 1 is important, direct aid, and so on and so forth. However, the added value can be found in investments in the agricultural policy, which includes innovation, infrastructure, upscaling, and as we all well know, an important part of investment means that there has to be cohesion and coherence in between different terms and players. Recent research from the European Bank showed that there is an increased risk, and what we all understand is that in this current programming, or rather in the programming period which is we're now entering into, with respect to the CAP, with respect to member states, is a risky one. And I think that the councils of ministers and everything is shifting priorities to the next programming period, 28-35. I think that this is something that is happening globally because in the past grants and funds addressed to the agricultural sector have been high and they are now decreasing. Within the framework of the Ministries' Council, we are discussing financing instruments, and this, irrespective of the sector or the practice under discussion, is always something that pops up in the discussion. Financing instruments. Greece. Good morning, Mr. Kasimis. Picking up from where you left off, Greece is willing to develop and now utilizing one of the financing instruments for the first time in the agricultural sector, one that provides resources and funds from the CAP and the Rural Development Fund, allowing money to reach Greek farmers. Mr. Papadopoulos was also right when he said that it has to do with mentality and the status quo, which are difficult to change, especially so when our farmers have been used for the past 35, 40 years to receive grants without really putting that much effort in it and without having to be accountable for them. I would like to speak of two instruments. One is already evolving, underway. It has to do with the Rural Development Guarantee Fund, the European Agricultural Guidance and Guarantee Fund. This led to the creation in Greece of the Rural Development Fund, Hellenic Agriculture Guarantee Fund. This is underway. It started from my predecessor. Its mentality was that we will utilize resources and funds from the Rural Development Fund, 80 million euro as a collateral. We will try to provide using the European Investment Bank and 7 financing institutions that are able to provide loans to farmers, small SME entrepreneurs and so on and so forth, to cover and meet the educational and vocational training needs that were unmet before. During the COVID pandemic, this has been modified, and we're talking about loans, or rather financing that has to do with cash flow and capital management. So we have banks now that can provide loans with low interest rates, because with this 80 million from the Rural Development Program, we are covering gaps. And these 80 million from the fund provides banks with leverage that allows them to add another 400 million euro in this budget, in this piggy bank. So we've got a 480 million instrument that can be utilized as loans, as seed and startup capitals for companies. And we had the joy 2 years ago to discuss with Mr. Kotonia how this can be utilized as seed capital for companies that are among the areas that are based in the areas struck by and affected by the wildfires last summer. Mr. Apostolopoulos can also confirm that there have been more than 1,000 discussions within the framework of this financing instrument. Of course, disbursement, which is something that affects the real life of the market, is completely different than discussions. The Minister, Mr. Livanos, also said we need to start seeing the results of this financing instrument. We're all living this, we're all experiencing it live, that when we're discussing strategic consultations about the plan, we are not making sense to farmers who are not used to such instruments. But it's very important to inform them and to explain to them what this financing instrument is all about. And this is where we are headed, and this is where CAP is headed as well. As I said before, we know almost all visits in Brussels, everybody seems to be talking about financing instruments. This is an initiative that started off, has been created, it has been made available, and now it's up to banks to promote it and make it even more so available. And we are trying to inform farmers and guide them in that direction. The second thing that is already underway, and it has to do with the development bank, has to do with loans of up to 25,000 euros, bearing the same mentality, the same approach. 20 by 25 will be from the EAGGF, and this will allow loans to be awarded of 25,000 euro to Greek farmers with the same prerequisites and terms and conditions. This is under the regulation 2122, and now we're awaiting approval from the European Commission in order to introduce it in the remaining set of measures that are about to take off. So we're trying to create two financing instruments that are both flexible and agile. But the most important thing that we all understand is that something that pertains to all that we have to tackle from now on. And I'm talking primarily about what the Green Deal, the European Green Deal requires. Green and digital transition. And we're talking about farmers, breeders, apicultures that are not used to innovation. And what I realize on a daily basis is that it will take a lot of effort, a lot of patience discussing things with our own farmers. Yesterday, Ms. von Weyck, I think, if I'm not mistaken, showed an important survey showing the level of education and knowledge and know-how of our Greek farmers. And all that we are discussing, we've been discussing in the previous sessions and today, ends up in that, can be summed up as that, including financing instruments. We need, therefore, to lay the emphasis, all of us in our own respective fields and sectors, on innovation, but with a focus, with an emphasis on informing and raising awareness and educating farmers, because the sooner they start utilizing new technologies, the sooner they will benefit from it. That was what I had to say. A very brief presentation. I'm at your disposal, but I also have to admit that, Mr. Balakakis, I have to leave in about half an hour because I have a meeting with the minister, and I'm still at your disposal. If you need anything else, please reach out to me at the ministry or electronically. Thank you very much.